Nigerian political landscape is drawn and is heated up and all towards 2027 general elections. From the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party, to the People's Democratic Party and the coalition, the ADC, all putting their axes in order, perhaps to seize power or grab power from the ruling All Progressive Congress. Hello dear, thank you so very much for joining us on Political Affairs on Kama TV. My name is Chris Jacobs, and of course I've been joined by Barrister Joshua Sunday Wigira. He is a Principal Special Assistant to the Governor of Adamawa State on Public Affairs. And of course he joins me now to further the conversation. Hello, it's a pleasure to have you on Political Affairs.
The pleasure is mine, Chris.
That's great. Good afternoon indeed. Now, I'd like to start by asking you, even though we have set the premise for the conversation already, looking at, international politics or comparative politics, with what has happened yesterday at Porto Novo, the Benin Republic, where, a coup was staged, but unfortunately foiled by, including Nigerian troops, which helped in foiling the troop. But unfortunately for the military men led by Lieutenant Colonel Pascal, they didn't succeed. What do you make of the reason behind some of these African countries, particularly the Francophone countries, staging coup, toppling government, democratically elected government? We're looking at international and comparative politics now.
Well, thank you, Chris. Basically, before any coup, there are triggers, red flags that a lot of people, even in government and outside of government, are seeing but making frantic effort to overlook. First and foremost, most of these enclaves where you see coups lately in Africa being staged, predominantly you find out that it is against sit-tight rulers. People who are saying that they are democratic, but in reality and in fact, indeed and in law, they are never democratic.
But isn't it obvious that it's peculiar to the Francophone nations, and Nigeria is indeed surrounded by these Francophone countries?
Yes, that's also the fact that there is a renaissance in the Francophone countries, trying to see if they can gain true independence from the French colonizers. France is holding their colonies to ransom up to this moment. They have given them just political independence, but economically and psychologically, they are still being colonized.
Is it safe to say neo-colonization is also taking place in the Francophone countries?
And that has been effectively possible as a result of their policy of assimilation. They make the average African in their colonies to assimilate and think, behave like a Frenchman. See himself more of a Frenchman than an African. Imbibe everything French to the disadvantage of his being African and his Africanness. So these are the factors. Economically, all the French colonies have been colonized or controlled by the French up to this moment. And you find out that they are getting to breathe with coups. In Niger, it has happened. In Mali, it has happened. In Burkina Faso, it has happened. So it will continue to happen to all the other African colonies, including our dear Cameroon.
All right. But how would you describe the role that Nigeria played yesterday in helping to quell the insurrection, in helping to foil the coup? Because it's like Nigeria is trying to regain or exhibit her big brother status on the continent of Africa, looking at the role it played yesterday by deploying some Alpha jet, to take charge of the airspace of Benin Republic, as well as a couple of soldiers, to help forestall peace and, to frustrate, a continuation of that intention by, Lieutenant Colonel Pascal that led the troops.
That is a cold comfort for those that are not informed, for those that are seeking for validation. Yes, Nigeria has the capacity to do whatever, to take any country in Africa, to control any government in Africa. Sadly, we have an armed forces, an air force, an army that cannot fight some ragtag, untrained miscreants holding a greater percentage of this country in the north, in the south, which is most unfortunate. It's just like a father that is lacking in the capacity and ability, or has failed to ensure that peace and order is restored in his house, but is going to a neighboring house to separate a fight between a husband and a wife. It is ridiculous, but I wouldn't want to go any further. That is an indication that the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has the might, the power, the capacity, the ability to dismantle whatever banditry, insecurity, insurgency, or whatever that is taking place in this country. But it has refused to, perhaps because it benefits them.
All right. How would you liken the current security situation in Nigeria, vis-a-vis, or just opposing it to the recent statement credited to the United States of America's President Donald Trump, where he referred to Nigeria as a nation with a particular concern? Now, we have seen, ever since this statement was made, that Nigeria is a disgraced country. So ever since this statement was made, we see the rise in, abductions, the rise in attacks on communities by these ragtag, by these untrained enemies of the state. And in the midst of all of this, someone will say politics is still coming into play, because it seems the lives of people are being played with, are being toyed with, because in the midst of all of this, we see campaigns still ongoing for 2027 general elections. So how do you marry these to one who has an intention to rescue the country?
To a situation where somebody will come and say to me that your father is an irresponsible. As a son, I will feel slighted, I will feel insulted. But you see, upon looking at the facts in issue, yes, I will not take it lightly that you insult my father as irresponsible. But I know certainly whether my father is responsible or irresponsible.
Yeah.
So, as Nigerians, yes, for me, I am not comfortable anybody calling Nigeria names. I am not comfortable. And I don't think for the purpose of public perception, I will take it. And I will join in the mob by saying that, hooray, hooray, damn Nigeria. No. But deep within us, we know that we are a country of particular concern.
Multifacetedly, they put it this way, in every aspect. But
it must not necessarily be in
genocidal aspect of it.
Genocide, saying that it is Christian genocide or Muslim genocide, or genocide against any of the religions. But we know that there is a genocide taking place in Nigeria. people are dying by the scores every day in Nigeria. Miscreants are killing people. Even the government itself is killing people. Nobody can say that there is no hunger in Nigeria. Hunger is killing people as a result of the reprehensible policies of the government.
So this is also another particular concern.
Yes, this is also another particular concern.
Our education is not...
Our schools are being closed down. So, and even if the schools are not closed, what is the quality of education given to our children?
Yes.
That is also
a particular concern.
What is the level of security in this country?
And health.
Now, I used to travel overnight when I was a very young person. You know, I enjoyed driving.
Oh, sure.
You know, I will drive myself from here to Kauranamoda in Zamfara State. Even if whatever is wrong with me now, I dare not do that. I cannot. It was just about 2008, 2009, 2010. I did that. I traveled from Kauranamoda, I'll go to Zuru, you know, or go to Kontagora, driving myself at night. I cannot do that now. I can't afford the luxury.
You dare not?
I will leave Jalingo around 11 p.m. and go back to Mubi as recent as 2011, just some 14 years ago. I cannot do that now. If I were to tell you that I make an attempt to travel from now to Numan around 11 p.m., you even if you are not going to say anything, you look at me twice.
But let's also look at
these are areas of
broader
concerns.
spectrum of it of this conversation. Of course, Donald Trump and the Pentagon, you know, have spoken, but we don't expect someone coming from the outside to help us fix our house. You know, they say he that wears the shoes, know where the shoes pinches, you know, or he that stays on the roof, know where the roof is leaking. With the conglomeration of the security and its architecture in Nigeria, and with the recent appointment of General Christopher Musa as Minister of Defense, do you see a sign on iota that perhaps the government, the Tinubu-led administration, is beginning to have an introspective, aspect of trying to put things right?
Well, you see, I have always said this on several occasions. Evil could come out of the desire to do good. At this point, honestly, I don't envy General Christopher Musa. I weep for him. He is a good man.
But why do you weep for him?
But the people he is going to work with, the environment he is going to work in, I don't think there will be result. I hope I am wrong.
So if you say the people he's going to be working with, which
the Minister
people?
of State.
Yes, because a lot of people have called for...
There is so much allegation against him that he has connection, one way or the other, with insurgents. On moral ground, he ought to have resigned. On several occasions, he came out justifying that these miscreants, these bandits, these kidnappers, these insurgents, that they were victims, or they are victims, and their victimhood pushed them into taking up arms. Taking up arms against who? Against those who were unjust to them, those who perpetrated evil against them. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Is he justified?
The videos is trending in recent times.
Is he justified? So, in a sane country, in a place where there is a government, a responsible and responsive government, will he spend one more minute on that seat as Minister of State for Defense in a situation where he is advancing reasons Why
and
miscreants?
it's a very sensitive office.
Very, very
all right.
sensitive. The governor of Zamfara State, on several occasions, labeled allegations against the Minister of State.
All right, let me allow you to
He has
catch your
not come
breath.
out to expunge, to purge himself of all that. And nothing is made of that. Everybody is
all right,
quiet as if
but
nothing is
the conversation is getting more interesting.
It is
but,
sad.
but I know we'll still explore more, but let me allow you to ponder on this. Will you blame the Minister of Defense for State, Matawale, for not resigning, owing to the fact that you can recall the United Arab Emirates some time ago presented list of names of financiers of terrorism in Nigeria, but we haven't seen nothing done about these persons whose name were given right from when from the regime of former General Muhammadu Buhari was in power. We didn't see nothing come out of that list. Do you think if that list had been worked on and these persons who are financiers of terrorism in Nigeria have been brought out, fished out, and publicly shamed and perhaps prosecuted, do you think the likes of Matawale, who allegedly, have said, people have said he has hand in some of these insurrection, should he still remain, without resigning even as a minister of Defense for State? This is what I want you to ponder on, so that we'll come and then talk some more on this. And for those of you following us on our Facebook page, I need you also to send your comment or suggestion to the comment section on our Facebook page. Now we'll take a short break. When we return, the conversation continues in just a moment. Join us again. Alright, glad to know you're there. If you just joined us, you're watching Political Affairs on Kama TV. I've been speaking with Barrister Sunday Wigira. He is the Principal Special Assistant to the Governor of Adamawa State on Public Affairs, and the conversation is complex indeed, you might say. But let's go further. Now, before the break, I asked you if Nigerian government has worked on the list given to her by the United States Arab Emirates, including America, that these persons are indeed financiers of terrorism in the country. Do you think we will still be talking about whether or not Matawale should resign, or whether or not those bandit terrorists, should have been wiped out by now?
Whatever we will say would just be hypothetical. But it still boils down to one thing: the fact that government is complicit in the security challenge that we have in this country. Ordinarily, we have all the capacities, all the capabilities. We have everything to fish whatever criminality and its perpetrators, its sponsors, its people that are even apathetic to it in this country. But you see, most often there are people who benefit from these abnormalities.
Conflict merchants.
Yes, and they are in government, or they sponsor people in government, and they make a lot of money from this crisis. They subdue people as a result of this crisis.
All right, I think we just need to go further.
It gives people undue advantage in this crisis situation. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
from my own perspective.
Yeah, I mean, for time constraint,
Yes.
Barrister, except otherwise, if we just dedicate this episode today to talking security, because I wanted us to talk a little bit on
But you
politics.
see, there is no way we will come and talk about these issues. You raise these sensitive questions, and you will not go into it holistically. That is just the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example.
Please go ahead.
In the South, from my own perspective, this is my own analysis, and I take responsibility for this opinion. I am telling you, you know, the APC, what they did, they know what they did in cahoots with Nnamdi Kanu.
I don't seem to get you.
Nnamdi Kanu came up with this IPOP team. He spread terror and fear in the southeast. Under normal circumstances, no Igbo man would go for APC. But you see, they cannot, the only way is to spread fear so that people will be afraid of coming out to vote. Nobody has rigged
So
it.
are you invariably saying
yourself.
the APC has a hand in, masterminding the
Yes.
activities of
IPOP.
Nnamdi Kanu, of
Yes,
IPOP, and the
IPOP.
true
They sit
Nnamdi
at home,
Kanu?
they decimated the economy of the southeast. Yes.
It's your
And
opinion anyway.
when you propagate poverty, in a way, you are gaining control over the people. The Igbos are largely Republican because they are
Industrial.
They are industrious. But when everything you have is gone, you have to start looking for government, and you go cap in hand. When you are afraid of coming out, how can you even have the confidence to go and vote? So when you don't go out to vote, you are outnumbered.
But it's still the APC in power that has, in whose regime of the APC, that's in this regime, that Nnamdi Kanu has been convicted and sentenced.
You see, when
you're a
use-
barrister.
Yes. You see, the challenge is when you allow yourself to be used negatively, there are consequences. Now, they were using him until they got foot soldiers in governors who have cross-carpeted, in principal politicians who have, some who could not cross-carpet are muzzled out. They are rendered powerless. Some are threatened with court cases, EFCC, ICPC, some are even threatened. The average Igbo man that is not of the APC now is afraid of even voicing out. You can't go for the government for fear of the IPOP, and you can't go against IPOP for fear of what they will do to you. So the confusion is just everywhere. A whole race is just messed up with. Unfortunately for Nnamdi Kanu, he was given a space. He was made a hero, and today he is struggling to save himself. Struggling to save himself. And now it is either you plead on his behalf, and it will be used as a political bargain, again, to the advantage of the APC.
Because definitely his lawyers will go for appeal.
Yes. But you see, when you go for an appeal, you have to wait. It takes time. And whatever the outcome of the appeal, it is either you go for another appeal to the Supreme Court, or the other party, the government, will appeal against that. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
And it becomes an issue. So it is either you follow me or we subdue you.
All right.
will give you the
let's talk a little bit of
this
politics.
is just one aspect.
I just have limited time now to end the conversation.
Very well.
You are of the People's Democratic Party, and of course, you know, it's supposed to be one of the strongest oppositions in the country, because I recall how the PDP had been an opposition during the regime of Muhammadu Buhari. But with what we have seen in the PDP, factionalization of the PDP, you know, starting from the convention in Ibadan, that led to the expulsion of the likes of Wike and the rest. And the faction again led by Nelson Wike, who that also said they're expunging, you know, the likes of Makinde and the rest. What is going on in the People's Democratic Party?
Well, actually, the PDP is not in good shape now. There are not two ways.
But has that in any way deter your principle, right, Honorable Amodu Fintiri? Because he just backed another award yesterday, you know.
You see,
with this,
being a member of the PDP is different from performing as a governor. There are two different things. Right, Honorable Amodu Fintiri has said that time without number, that political party or party politics comes into being only when it is time for politicking.
That's correct.
After election, it is about governance. So he has done his best and he has given us his word. He will continue to perform until May 28th, 2027. That is the day officially his term of office will efflux. So I am confident, and I believe he will continue to back this award till he leaves office in 2027. Be that as it may, what I am telling you about PDP is not in a good shape. But I have not given up, because I believe that PDP will rise again. Yes, there are crises now. Yes, there are challenges now. Seemingly, the party is factionalized. That is not in doubt. But you see, in life, for you to rise, you must go down. This is the time that is not the best of times for the party. But we shall rise again.
We also see the navigation, just like you mentioned earlier, people cross-carpeting to the ruling All Progressive Congress. And it's like Nigeria is gradually navigating towards one-party system. Now, as an opposition, not just the PDP, we have the coalition also. These are opposition parties. But how viable are the oppositions in Nigeria? Finally, please.
Well, when you talk about viability, yes, I'm afraid, as far as I'm concerned, the only opposition is the PDP.
For now.
Yes. Despite all these challenges, the only opposition. You see, when you join politics because you're angry, when you join a political party because you felt aggrieved, that you want to prove a point, what other point can you prove?
All right. So the PDP is more of a threat to the APC than the coalition ADC.
In fact, that is why the APC will fight themselves.
Right.
The ADC will fight themselves. Well, you have seen APC and ADC is here in Adamawa State. They cannot get themselves together. Okay. It is one drama after the other. Somebody has been referring to ADC as Gidamba Damasi. And,
very dramatic indeed.
Very dramatic.
Anyway, there's no better way to end the conversation than now. But this is just the part one of the conversation. We will definitely have to build up on this conversation because it is very broad, and we need to have more time. And trust you, you always adhere to our invite. Absolutely. All right, viewers, thank you so very much for being with us from start to finish. You've had the conversation with Barrister Sunday Wigura, the principal senior advisor to the governor on public affairs. And of course, as promised, we'll definitely have a part two of this conversation. So you keep a date with us, same time, same station, as we come with a fresh edition of the program. Until then, stay safe. I remain Chris Jacobs. God bless Nigeria.